Throughout life, we all encounter moments of deep sorrow and despair, times when we ask ourselves, why is there so much pain? Is there truly a way out of this darkness? These are the moments when escape feels impossible, when suffering seems endless. But have you ever considered that beneath all this darkness lies a deeper meaning, a purpose that makes everything fall into place? That, my friend, is the essence of this video. Here we will explore the timeless Stoic lessons that serve as a guiding light through sadness and hardship. These teachings will fortify your resilience against any adversity. Whether you're facing a personal crisis or simply seeking a dose of encouragement in your daily life, I invite you to embrace these insights. Let them uplift your spirit and empower your mind. Together, we will transform darkness into light, finding the strength to move forward. Let's begin. 1. Acceptance of what we cannot change. Life is a constant flux, an ever-changing reality beyond our full control. But how should we respond to these inevitable shifts? What can we do when faced with circumstances we cannot alter? The Stoics taught us that peace comes not from resisting reality, but from accepting what is beyond our reach. While this idea may seem simple, truly applying it to daily life is a profound challenge. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once said, "Accept whatever comes to you as if you had chosen it yourself." This wisdom encourages us to embrace reality as it is, rather than waste our energy fighting against the uncontrollable. Can you stop the wind with your hands? No, right? Instead of resisting, adjust your sails and navigate the winds of life with purpose. When you struggle to accept life's difficulties, think of Epictetus. Born into slavery, he endured years of hardship but never let his circumstances define him. Instead, he mastered the art of resilience and acceptance, proving that true freedom lies not in our external conditions, but in how we choose to respond. Consider a flowing stream. Water does not fight against the rocks in its path. It moves effortlessly around them. In the same way, we must learn to adapt to life's obstacles rather than resist them. Remember, suffering arises from resistance to reality. Picture a caged bird desperately flapping against the bars. The more it resists, the greater its suffering. This is the same struggle we experience when we refuse to accept what is beyond our control. As Epictetus wisely advised, do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and you will be happy. By understanding our limitations and embracing them, we gain the strength to grow, transforming pain into a path toward resilience. Marcus Aurelius echoes this sentiment. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. Through acceptance and love, we find true freedom. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to improve, strengthen, and elevate our spirit. 2. Resisting adversity. The Stoics believe that adversity is not merely an obstacle, but an opportunity, one that tests our resilience and unlocks our greatest potential. How then can we turn life's harshest trials into a source of strength? Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, declared, "No man is more miserable than he who has never faced adversity, for he has not had the chance to prove his strength." These words remind us that hardship is not our enemy. Instead, it is a vital force that forges resilience, pushing us to evolve. Think about trees that withstand relentless winds. Over time, they develop deep, unshakable roots, making them stronger and more resilient. Likewise, every challenge you overcome fortifies your character, preparing you for the storms ahead. And just like those trees, you possess an inner strength that enables you to rise after every fall. You are the hero of your own story. Consider the extraordinary life of theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking. Though he faced a devastating medical condition that gradually robbed him of mobility, He refused to let it limit his potential. Despite his paralysis, Hawking shattered expectations, revolutionizing our understanding of the universe while building a rich, fulfilling life. Rather than succumbing to despair, he embraced a Stoic mindset, choosing perseverance over self-pity. His resilience transformed him into one of the most influential physicists in history, proving that adversity can be a catalyst for greatness. His journey mirrors the teachings of Epictetus. Do not wish for life to be easier. Wish for yourself to be stronger. Through every hardship, we are given the chance to grow, to strengthen our spirit, and to redefine what is possible. Embrace the challenges before you, not as burdens, but as stepping stones toward a greater, more resilient you. Instead of wishing for an easier path, we should strive to become stronger and wiser, capable of facing life's challenges and emerging even more resilient. So, when adversity strikes, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, ask yourself, "How can I use this experience to grow? What skills do I need to develop to overcome this challenge?" Remember, within you lies an extraordinary power, the ability to transform every hardship into an opportunity for growth. Never underestimate your resilience. You possess an inner strength greater than you can imagine. Before we move on to the next lesson, if you find value in this content, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts on how Stoic teachings help you navigate adversity, or simply type Stoic at heart in the comments to join our community. Together we can turn this space into a hub for shared wisdom and personal growth. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more inspiring content. Your support keeps this message alive. Chapter 3. Controlling your emotions. The Stoics, with their profound wisdom, left us invaluable lessons on mastering our emotions. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This timeless insight reminds us that our thoughts, not external events or the opinions of others, shape our reality. If we cultivate a mindset of clarity and resilience, we can create a life of peace and fulfillment, regardless of our circumstances. But how can we apply this to our daily lives? What practical steps can we take to elevate the quality of our thoughts, and in turn, our experiences? One powerful approach is emotional detachment. Imagine you're in an important meeting and someone harshly criticizes your work. Your instinct might be to react defensively or feel personally attacked. But a Stoic perspective offers another path. Epictetus taught that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. If you see criticism as an unjust attack, it will trigger anger and frustration. But if you take a deep breath and ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" you shift from emotional reaction to constructive response. By mastering this skill, you cultivate inner stability and resilience. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Serenity is the armor of the soul." The great Stoic philosophers embodied this principle in extreme circumstances. Epictetus, despite living as a slave, maintained unwavering inner peace, proving that true freedom lies in our response to life's hardships. Seneca, exiled from Rome, refused to succumb to bitterness. Instead, he used his time in isolation to write some of the most influential works on ethics and philosophy. These men remind us that external conditions do not define us, our internal state does. So how can we cultivate this emotional strength in our own lives? One of the most effective tools is mindfulness. Take just a few minutes each day to focus on your breath. Notice how the air flows in and out. Each time your mind wanders, gently return your focus to your breath. This simple practice trains your mind to stay centered, reducing stress and cultivating serenity amid daily chaos. Another powerful practice is keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down a few things, big or small, that you are grateful for. This practice rewires your brain to focus on abundance rather than lack, fostering a mindset of peace and appreciation. Reflection is also key. Before bed, take a moment to assess your day. Ask yourself, did my actions align with my values? Did I respond to challenges with patience and wisdom? This habit strengthens your sense of purpose and leads to lasting personal fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius left us with a final piece of wisdom. Within you there is a place of tranquility that you can always retreat to. By practicing these principles, we cultivate not just emotional control, but a life of harmony, clarity, and purpose. 4. Patience as a virtue. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, patience stands as a rare and extraordinary virtue, one that grants us the inner peace and strength the Stoics so highly valued. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, time is a river of events, and nothing can be hastened beyond its limits. This profound statement teaches us that everything unfolds in its own time. Rushing through life only leads to frustration and anxiety. True strength lies in knowing how to wait with calm confidence, for patience yields the most meaningful and lasting results. Let's take a moment to reflect on the power of patience. It is not just a virtue, it is an invaluable ally on the path to well-being. Impatience fuels stress and dissatisfaction. Patience cultivates tranquility and mental clarity. Think about how you feel when you try to force an outcome, demanding immediate results. Now, contrast that with the peace that comes from trusting the process, allowing things to unfold naturally. When we try to accelerate processes that require their natural time, we end up with worse outcomes and are likely full of anxiety and frustration. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca, what is rushed is exposed to a quick decay. Time is the greatest maker of good judgment. The wise philosopher teaches us through this quote that nature has its own rhythms, and respecting them is crucial for our mental balance. Imagine a farmer who plants his seeds but in his impatience tries to accelerate the growth of his crops by over-fertilizing and over-watering them. Instead of yielding an abundant and healthy harvest, the plants wither and the fruits are few. This excessive effort not only damages the plants, but also leaves the farmer exhausted and discouraged. Similarly, in our daily lives, trying to force a promotion at work or rushing the recovery from an illness can lead to disappointment and exhaustion. Patience, on the other hand, allows us to move forward with serenity and wisdom, accepting the time that each process needs to develop fully. So how can we develop this virtue in challenging moments? There are many strategies, but they all center around one principle: self-control. First, accept reality as it is. Understanding that acting impatiently won't improve the situation. Then, start using moments of waiting as opportunities to practice meditation or mindfulness, focusing on the present. Another powerful practice is deep breathing, which helps calm your mind. You can also use visualization techniques, imagining a peaceful place where you feel safe and relaxed. Additionally, cultivate gratitude for the lessons adversity brings, recognizing that each challenge is an opportunity for personal growth. These practices will help you maintain serenity and act calmly when facing situations that provoke stress and anxiety. Daily life is full of situations that test our patience, like being stuck on a long customer service call or dealing with delays in public transportation. However, with these practical tips, we can transform these moments into opportunities to strengthen this valuable virtue. As the Stoics taught us, it is essential to cultivate patience in our day-to-day lives. Always remember the words of Epictetus, "Do not rush in anything, and all will be achieved in due time." 5. The importance of empathy. In a world where human connection is often lost amidst the daily hustle, empathy shines as a saving light, capable of illuminating even the darkest moments. It becomes the bond that unites our hearts in the common language of understanding and compassion. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Let us try to enter another person's soul. Let us walk in their shoes." This idea forms the foundation upon which the importance of empathy in our lives is built. The words of wise people throughout history constantly remind us of the importance of understanding and connecting with the emotions of others. From the writings of Seneca to the contemporary teachings of opinion leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., empathy and love for our fellow humans stand as the cornerstone of authentic and enriching relationships. They show us the vital need to deeply understand and connect with the feelings of others. Picture this scene. A neighbor tells you that they've just lost a loved one, expressing their deep pain and sadness. Instead of simply nodding and changing the subject, you take a moment to listen attentively and express your sincere support. You also share your own experiences of loss, creating a moment of deep connection. This act of empathy not only strengthens your relationship with your neighbor, but also offers them genuine comfort, making them feel understood and supported. Cultivating empathy is not a random act. It is a conscious decision we must make every day. But how can we do this? Through small gestures and meaningful actions. As we saw in the previous example, truly listening and offering genuine support to those who need it is the first step. Practicing compassion exercises, such as guided meditation to develop feelings of empathy, can help us maintain a more receptive and understanding attitude toward others. As Marcus Aurelius taught, when you have the chance to show affection, don't let it pass by. Now it's important to understand that empathy doesn't stop at fleeting words of comfort. Its true power lies in pairing words with action. If a friend tells you they're overwhelmed by work, in addition to listening and showing understanding, you could offer your help with a specific task or suggest an activity that allows them to relax and clear their mind. Another example might be supporting a charitable cause. Instead of limiting yourself to a one-time financial donation, you could volunteer and lend a hand directly. Witnessing firsthand the impact of your help, these small actions show us that grand gestures are not necessary to develop empathy and enrich our lives and those of the people around us. With simple, everyday gestures, we can contribute to creating a more understanding and supportive world. 6. The power of perspective. What if I told you that you have the power to transform everything that happens around you, simply by changing something within yourself? Yes, it's exactly as it sounds. The Stoics taught us that it is our perspective on events, not the events themselves, that truly shapes our reality. Imagine that you suddenly lose the job to which you've dedicated years of effort and passion. It's a hard and unexpected blow. You don't have an alternative in sight, nor a plan for how to move forward. How do you think you would feel at that moment? It's likely that your mind would plunge into a sea of shadows, seeing everything under a negative light and feeling as though there's no way out. This is where the transformative power of perspective is revealed. It is within your reach to change this gloomy vision into something completely different. What do you think would happen if you decided to pause for a moment and shift your perspective? You could start asking yourself questions like, is this obstacle truly insurmountable? Or, is this really the end of my professional career? Or, am I capable of using this drastic turn to my advantage and reinvent myself? This ability to reframe the situation, to see an ending as a new beginning, not only eases the initial emotional impact, but also opens up new paths toward personal growth and new opportunities. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote in his discourses that when we face obstacles, we have the option to assign them meaning. If we imagine it to be a disaster, it becomes one. But if we see it as an opportunity, we can transform it into something beneficial. The Stoic perspective teaches us to see beyond the present moment and understand each challenge as an invitation to evolve and strengthen our character. We don't need to transport ourselves hundreds of years back to ancient Rome to see how a change of perspective can achieve the impossible. Consider the life of Ludwig van Beethoven, one of the most important classical composers of all time, who faced adversity that could have silenced any musical career: the loss of his hearing. Due to this condition, the German composer faced a deep and painful crisis, not just physically but also emotionally. But instead of giving up, Beethoven did the impossible. He redefined his approach to music, adapting his technique and style to continue creating despite his limitation. He transformed his deafness into a source of innovation, reinventing his creative process. In doing so, he composed some of the most profound and significant works of all time during the years of his auditory isolation. As the Stoics teach us, and as we can see in Beethoven's story, behind every challenge and setback lies the potential for growth. We become the sculptors of our own lives. So, my friend, shape your mind with the same dedication a gardener uses to tend their garden. Cultivate gratitude by finding beauty even in the darkest days, and practice acceptance by embracing life in its purest form, without resistance or judgment. 7. The impermanence of everything. In the ever-changing flow of life, impermanence acts as an unshakable law, from the changing seasons to the constant beat of our hearts. Everything is in a perpetual state of transformation. The Stoics, masters of practical philosophy, teach us this eternal truth, one that transcends time and cultures. As Epictetus said, everything that has a beginning also has an end. This wisdom reminds us that everything is in constant motion. In the rush of our daily lives, we often forget this essential truth, clinging to the illusion that things will always remain the same. However, Stoic teachings urge us to reflect on the fleeting nature of our experiences. Marcus Aurelius compared life to a flowing stream of water, where each moment passes by and cannot be held. When we understand that everything is temporary, we free our minds from the suffering that comes from clinging to what is inevitably fleeting. Accepting change and impermanence brings us profound inner peace. Seneca reminds us that nothing, in view of eternity, is stable or permanent, not even our suffering. By adopting an attitude of detachment toward our possessions and expectations, we free ourselves from the worries and anxieties that come with being attached to the transient. In this detachment, we find freedom. We learn to enjoy the good because we know it will not last forever, and we learn to put the bad into perspective because it too will pass. The Stoics found serenity amid impermanence by focusing on what they could control, their thoughts and actions. For example, if they suffered a breakup, rather than lamenting endlessly, they reflected on the moments of love and personal growth that the relationship had brought them. This practice of acceptance and detachment allowed them to heal and open themselves to new connections without resistance. But how can we cultivate this serenity in the face of change in our daily lives? We can start by observing nature, noticing how everything in it changes. The seasons shift, plants grow and wither. You can also keep a journal, recording your daily thoughts and feelings, reflecting on how they change over time. Another powerful practice is spending a few minutes each day meditating on impermanence, contemplating how everything around us is in constant flux. These practices can help you maintain a calm and balanced mind in the midst of constant change. By accepting impermanence, we discover a freedom that transcends the ups and downs of life. As Seneca said, time unveils the truth. By accepting this, we find peace in the fluidity of life. In this flow, we discover the true peace and happiness that lie in accepting our own transience. 8. The art of maintaining perspective. Let's start with two contrasting stories. Imagine yourself going through a deeply difficult situation, perhaps dealing with the loss of a job, a personal relationship, or a dream you worked hard for. The pain is intense, the days feel long and bleak, and it seems like there's no end to the suffering. Now picture that you've overcome this hardship. Looking back, you realize that this experience taught you something valuable, that it became a turning point in your life. What once seemed unbearable now carries meaning. This is the power of perspective, one of the core teachings of Stoicism. The ability to look beyond the immediate pain and recognize that, with time, hardships may become opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Stoicism encourages us to pause and reframe how we see obstacles, not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones on our journey to becoming stronger individuals. The Stoics believe that we cannot control the events that happen to us, but we can control how we interpret and respond to them. This is perhaps one of the most empowering lessons of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." In times of struggle, shifting our perspective can be the key to overcoming our challenges. The metaphor of the archer is a useful one. Imagine an archer preparing to shoot an arrow at a target. They can control their aim, their stance, and their breath. But once the arrow is released, external factors like wind or obstacles can influence whether it hits the target. Life works the same way. We can prepare, we can aim for our goals. But once the arrow is in flight, we have to accept what happens next. The lesson is to focus on the things we can control, our actions and attitudes, and let go of what is beyond our influence. One of the greatest Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, demonstrated the art of maintaining perspective. Born into slavery, Epictetus could have allowed his circumstances to crush him. Instead, he chose to focus on what he could control, his inner state, his reactions, and his mindset. He taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This shift in perspective gave him the strength to endure his hardships and later become one of the most respected Stoic teachers. To put this lesson into, try these steps. First, when facing a challenge, take a moment to reflect. Is this situation truly as terrible as it seems, or is it my perception making it worse? Second, ask yourself, how can I grow from this? What can I learn that will make me stronger or more resilient? And finally, cultivate gratitude by recognizing that every obstacle is a chance to sharpen your character, to practice patience, resilience, or acceptance. Think of it like climbing a mountain. At the base, the path ahead looks steep and difficult, and it's hard to imagine reaching the top. But as you start the climb, step by step, your perspective changes. Each step brings you closer to the summit. And what once seemed impossible becomes achievable. So remember, the next time you're facing a tough situation, take a deep breath, adjust your sails, and shift your perspective. By doing so, you'll find new ways to grow and strengthen your inner self. 9. The strength of the present moment. In the chaos of modern existence, we often find ourselves trapped between memories of the past and uncertainties about the future. We forget that true life is lived in the present moment. Remember the wise words of Seneca, who teaches us that life is short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. The importance of being present is a central theme in wisdom across the ages, from ancient Stoics to modern masters of meditation and mindfulness. The teachings of the Stoic philosophers are full of advice to live in the present with awareness and virtue. In the words of the Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Destiny hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." With this quote, the wise Stoic philosopher reminds us that we must live in the now, conscious that it is the only moment we truly have, and we must use it to do good as much as we can. The practice of being fully present shines as a light in the darkness, guiding us towards serenity. By training our minds to focus on the present, we cultivate a sense of inner peace that transcends daily concerns. Mindfulness is not just about meditation. It's about bringing this awareness into every daily activity. But how can we integrate conscious presence into our daily lives, full of distractions and urgent tasks? Here are some effective strategies. Conscious observation is a powerful tool. Take a few moments to notice the details around you, sounds, colors, and textures. This simple act anchors you in the present, distancing you from distractions of the past and future. Have you ever caught yourself discovering something wonderful that had always been there, but you never noticed until you had a quiet moment? Like the view of the sunset while driving home from work, or the sound of birds in the morning nature walk. That is the magic of flowing with the present. We discover wonderful things that have always been there, but we were unable to see. By paying full attention, we find small treasures in our daily life that enrich our experience and connect us more deeply with the world around us. The Stoics, masters of inner tranquility, also valued the here and now as the key to a fulfilling life. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, reminds us to cherish all that exists. The key to a full life is not to let ourselves be consumed by what is ephemeral. This teaching invites us to question our perceptions and emotions, recognizing that true freedom lies in our ability to choose how we respond to present circumstances. To cultivate mindfulness and enjoy the present, it is essential to strengthen our relationships with ourselves and with others. Take time for activities that connect you with the now, whether it's playing sports, enjoying a good book, or sharing a meaningful meal with loved ones. Each present moment is a unique opportunity to experience life in its fullness. Remember that today is the only thing that exists. Tomorrow may be too late. So what are you waiting for? Immerse yourself in the present moment and discover the beauty that every instant has to offer. 10. The power of action. Have you ever found yourself paralyzed by uncertainty and fear? Of course you have. We've all been there. But have you ever wondered how to transform that fear into strength to move forward? In those crucial moments, the power of action becomes a beacon, guiding us toward resolution and progress. The Stoics, wise philosophers of antiquity, taught us the value of decisive action in the face of adversity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminded us that difficulty shows the way. This timeless wisdom teaches us that true wisdom manifests in action, not avoidance. Action not only solves problems, but also paves the way for personal transformation and growth. When we face obstacles with courage instead of avoiding them, we become the architects of our destiny, forging our character in the crucible of adversity. Each challenge overcome strengthens your determination and cultivates an unbreakable will. Marcus Aurelius expressed it well when he said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." So how do we cultivate this determination and will to act in our daily lives? The key lies in committing to action instead of succumbing to passivity. Practice staying focused on the present by taking small actions without worrying about the final outcome. This frees us from the burden of an uncertain future and empowers us to act with courage in the here and now. The Stoics demonstrated the value of action in their lives. Seneca taught that fortune favors the bold. This idea emphasizes personal responsibility and the need to face circumstances with courage and resolution. Take a moment to think about some of the great achievements of all time. Do you believe they would have been accomplished if the leaders behind them had given in to fear? If Thomas Edison had allowed the fear of failure to stop him after thousands of failed attempts, the world might never have known electric light, and our lives would be radically different today. Likewise, if Maya Angelou had succumbed to the trauma of her childhood and the adversities she faced, she wouldn't have become the powerful literary and social voice that inspired millions. These leaders and many others confronted their fears and acted with courage, demonstrating that decisive action can overcome even the most formidable barriers. By embracing the power of action, they transformed their challenges into stepping stones to success and innovation, inspiring all of us to face our own adversities with courage and determination. Now, let's talk about how to apply the power of action in our everyday lives. It's essential to set clear goals and take concrete steps toward achieving them. Face each day with the intention to move forward, no matter how small the step. Learn from every experience and adapt your approach as needed. Be compassionate with yourself when you make mistakes, allowing yourself to be human and to learn without judging yourself harshly. Remember, no one has ever succeeded without failing countless times along the way. Aura of action is a transformative force within you, waiting to be unleashed. Acting in the face of adversity cultivates your determination, strengthens your will, and forges your destiny with courage. Don't be afraid to act. With each step forward, you'll find the strength to overcome any obstacle. Dare to act and discover the limitless power that lies within you. 11. The importance of detachment. Have you ever found yourself trapped in a spiral of frustration and disappointment because things didn't turn out the way you expected? Perhaps it was a demanding task at work where you invested countless hours only to see results that fell short of your expectations. Or maybe it was a date you had high hopes for, but didn't go as planned. In these moments of disappointment, the teachings of the Stoics about detachment become especially valuable. These wise thinkers teach us that true mastery of ourselves lies in accepting what is and letting go of what cannot be. Detachment doesn't mean indifference, but rather the release of the need to control outcomes that are beyond our reach. By letting go of our expectations and accepting reality as it is, we find an inner serenity that allows us to face challenges with a more balanced and resilient attitude. Epictetus once said, "It's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them." By applying this thought, we can understand that our frustrations often come more from our unmet expectations than from the events themselves. Practicing detachment allows us to release this emotional burden, focusing on what we can truly control. Our attitude and our response to any situation. When we embrace detachment, we learn to navigate life with greater peace and clarity, finding in every challenge an opportunity to grow, rather than a potential source of disappointment. Imagine that you're on a long, anticipated vacation with a carefully planned itinerary full of activities and places to visit. However, you encounter significant flight delays, bad weather upon arrival, and some tourist attractions are temporarily closed. What do you think your reaction will be to this series of unexpected events that completely change your plans? If you stubbornly cling to your original plan, you will feel frustrated and disappointed. But if you detach from your expectations and adapt to the circumstances, you'll discover new opportunities to enjoy, explore unplanned places, and relax, appreciating your vacation experience more fully and peacefully. Even when things don't go as expected, detachment is not a quality that appears out of nowhere. It is like a muscle that we must train throughout life. But how can we do it? Begin with simple but effective actions. A good start is to practice meditation exercises focused on letting go of what crosses your mind. Dedicate a few minutes each day to focusing on your breathing and letting thoughts pass without clinging to them. Additionally, when facing a stressful situation, practice conscious reflection. Take a pause and analyze what you can truly control. For example, if you're dealing with conflict in your relationships, instead of trying to change the other person, focus on how you can react with calm and understanding. Lastly, cultivate the habit of letting go of unnecessary material possessions. Get rid of things you no longer need and that only gather dust, learning to appreciate the value of the essential. As Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the only goal worth pursuing in life. It is gained by ignoring things beyond our control. This thought teaches us that true detachment means letting go of what we cannot control and finding peace in what we can manage. Remember, the important thing is not the goal or the result, it's the journey and how you live it. Chapter 12. Cultivating Serenity and Uncertainty. In the midst of life's storms, finding serenity may seem like a challenge, but it is precisely in these moments that calm becomes our greatest strength. The Stoics teach us to maintain inner peace amid turbulence and find stability, even in instability. As the wise philosopher Epictetus said, serenity is a matter of the mind, not of circumstances, reminding us that true calm comes from within. But when everything around you seems chaotic, how can you find peace? How do we keep our composure amid constant change? The first step is to adopt a flexible and open mindset. Face uncertainty with a willingness to adapt. Like a tree that bends but does not break in the wind. Remember that although you cannot control everything that happens, you can always choose how to respond to it. The Stoics offer us practical tools for cultivating serenity. One of them is detachment, learning not to hold too tightly to material things or expectations. This helps us stay calm in the face of unexpected changes. Imagine being on a roller coaster. If you try to resist the movements, you'll feel worse. But if you relax and go with the flow, the experience will be more bearable, even enjoyable. In moments of uncertainty, Stoic teachings invite us to focus on the present. Live according to nature, said Epictetus, emphasizing the importance of accepting the current moment without excessive worry about the future. This perspective helps us find peace and enjoy each moment as it comes. The Stoics also give us examples of how to maintain calm in difficult situations. Think of Marcus Aurelius, who remained serene while leading during times of war, or Musonius Rufus, the teacher of Epictetus, who endured exile without losing his inner peace. These examples show us that serenity is not an unattainable ideal, but a skill we can develop. Cultivating serenity in daily life means learning to find moments of calm, even in the hustle of everyday activities. Take a few minutes each day for meditation or contemplation to disconnect from the external noise and reconnect with yourself. Practice gratitude by focusing on the good things in your life. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. With this, he reminds us that inner peace begins with our attitude and perspective. Chapter 13. Gratitude is salvation. The Stoics taught us that there is an invisible force that can change our perception and bring us light even in the darkest days. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus, be grateful not only for what you have received, but also for what you have not yet received. For the act of gratitude prepares the heart for abundance. The Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, show us that gratitude is not only a practice, but an antidote to despair and dissatisfaction. Let me ask you something. What's the first thing you do when you wake up each morning? Perhaps you dread going to work, scrolling through notifications. But what if I told you that at that very moment you have the power to change the rest of your day? Yes, exactly as you hear it, I propose a challenge. Tomorrow morning, before doing anything, simply think of 3 things you are grateful for. Things that make it worth getting out of bed. This small act can transform your day. Instead of focusing on what's missing or what went wrong, gratitude invites us to find beauty even in difficult moments. As Epictetus expressed, gratitude is a recognition of the goodness received. And when we cultivate gratitude, we nourish our jiso. How do we practice gratitude even in tough times? The Stoics offer us practical strategies. Negative visualization, for example, allows us to imagine the loss of what we have, leading us to appreciate it more fully. If you face a difficult moment, try to see it as an opportunity to grow and learn, instead of viewing it as an unbearable misfortune. Seneca said, "Gratitude is the key that opens the door to abundance." The Stoics give us concrete examples of how to maintain gratitude in adversity, like the case of Epictetus. Despite being a slave, found reasons to be grateful for the lessons life offered him. These examples show us that gratitude is not an unattainable ideal, but a skill we can develop to cultivate gratitude permanently. Dedicate a few minutes each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. Keep a gratitude journal where you can record your thoughts and feelings. Don't underestimate the power of expressing gratitude to others. A simple thank you can have a profound impact on your relationships. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Gratitude is the compass that guides us on the journey of life." Gratitude is a beacon in the darkness, a force that can illuminate even the gloomiest days. By cultivating it, you transform your perception of reality and find joy even in the midst of adversity. So, what are you waiting for? Start your journey toward a life of gratitude right now. I encourage you to explore the transformative power of these valuable lessons in your daily life. Let every step you take become an opportunity to face and overcome challenges with courage. Remember, overcoming adversity makes you stronger. So, the next time you encounter an obstacle, connect with your inner strength and elevate your life toward a more resilient and authentic existence. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "My resilience is infinite." That way I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care, and keep embracing your inner Stoic.